Hi everyone and welcome. Today, we're going on a journey back in time to learn about French colonialism. This period was a significant chapter in world history, shaping the cultures, economies and politics of many regions. We'll start in the 1500s, a time when many European countries, including France, were exploring and taking over new lands. These explorations were driven by a desire for wealth, power and new trade routes. France wanted to be richer and more important. So they started colonies in North America, the Caribbean, and parts of Asia. These colonies were not just about land. They were about resources and strategic advantages. They wanted things like furs, sugar, and spices. These goods were highly valuable in Europe and could be traded for great profit, fueling further expansion. As France got more colonies, it became more powerful. The influence of French culture, language, and governance spread across the globe, leaving a lasting legacy. Come along with me as we explore this interesting and complicated history. We'll delve into the motivations, the conflicts, and the impacts of French colonialism and see how it has shaped the world we live in today. French colonies were everywhere, from cold Canada to the busy city of Saigon. In Africa, France controlled a lot of land, including countries like Algeria, Senegal, and Madagascar. Each place was changed by French rule, from the buildings and language to the laws and how people lived. In Southeast Asia, France took over Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia, calling it French Indochina. This area was important because it was in a good location and had many resources. The French built railroads, roads, and big cities there. French colonialism had both positive and negative impacts on the regions it controlled. On one hand, France gained immense wealth and resources from its colonies, which contributed to its growth as a global power. The extraction of raw materials and the establishment of trade routes significantly boosted the French economy. Additionally, French culture, language, and ideas were disseminated across the world. This led to the establishment of French educational institutions, architectural styles, and cultural practices in the colonies, which can still be seen today. However, the colonial system also inflicted significant harm on the local populations. Many people suffered under harsh working conditions and were subjected to exploitation and oppression. Indigenous cultures were often disregarded and local traditions were suppressed. The imposition of French laws and customs disrupted the social and cultural fabric of the colonized societies. In response to these injustices, people in the colonies organized and fought back against French rule. Independence movements gained momentum as colonized nations sought to reclaim their autonomy and self-determination. The legacy of French colonialism continues to influence the relationship between France and its former colonies. The historical events of the colonial era have left lasting impacts that are still felt in political, economic, and cultural interactions today. Section 4. Echoes of the past enduring legacies. After World War II, French colonialism started to end. The war had left France weakened, both economically and politically, making it difficult to maintain control over its vast empire. France wasn't as strong anymore and many colonies wanted freedom. The desire for self-determination grew stronger, leading to widespread protests and uprisings. In Africa and Asia, people fought for independence, inspired by the global movement against colonialism. Leaders emerged, rallying their people to the cause of freedom, and the French colonies became independent countries. Celebrations marked the end of colonial rule, but the journey ahead was filled with challenges. But things from French colonialism are still around today. The architecture, legal systems, and even some cultural practices bear the imprint of French influence. Many former colonies still use the French language, laws, and educational systems. French remains a key language in government and business. And some parts of French culture, festivals, cuisine, and art in these countries often reflect a blend of local and French traditions. The relationship between France and these countries is complicated. They share a history marked by both cooperation and conflict. But there are still problems with things like money, economic policies, and trade agreements that often favor France, culture, and politics. The legacy of French colonialism continues to shape the political landscape, influencing debates and policies to this day. Section 5. A World Transformed. Reflections on French Colonialism. As we finish learning about French colonialism, it's important to think about how it changed the world. It changed country borders, cultures, and who had power. Understanding this history helps us understand the problems and good things happening in former colonies today. It also makes us think about whether colonialism was right and how it still affects us. Thanks for learning with me, and I hope you keep exploring history.